Good afternoon. This is the Planning and Land Use Management Committee. I'm Councilmember Weezer. I've been joined by Councilmember Englander and his environmentally friendly way of organizing his notes, which that's all in one little tablet there. We'll start off with item 11, which is the director's report. We will receive and file that item. On item number 4, we will approve on consent. Item number 5, we will approve and instruct a report back in committee on June the 2nd. This is, we're going to report back to the committee on June the 2nd, but do we have to send this to council and then have it back? No, right? Okay, so we just have a report back to committee on June the 2nd. Item number 5, so ordered. And item number 6, we have one speaker. Okay, so we'll hold item number 6. Item number 1, if we could call that to order, please.
Sure. Item 1, Councilman, is a communication for the mayor relative to the appointment of John Deal to the East LA APC.
Did we get that correct?
Excuse me, Johan is the first name. Sorry.
Thank you. No worries. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Welcome, and welcome to the committee, and thank you for your willingness to serve. Anything you'd like to share with the committee or the public about your recommendation by the mayor for this commission?
Well, I've been a resident of Los Angeles, specifically the Northeast area, for about 18 years. And I've lived as a community member and a community leader in a majority of that time. And I've always sort of had that interest in seeing how local government, and being involved with that. So I thought that in hearing about the opportunity, I wanted to sort of see and take advantage of the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much again. Any questions, comments?
So I think we need you in the Office of Finance, and looking at your bio and your resume, it's pretty impressive. Raised $21 million for the annual campaign fund. I mean, and on and on and on. I mean, you've done a lot of leadership and community and civic participation. It's very impressive. And then going down to all of your community connections, I think first is the most important thing to point out is that you're a Trojan, a USC alum. So you got my support.
Oh, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. And we're going to do an analysis to see how many USC versus UCLA commissioners there are. I think there's more USC, at least on the planning side. I've seen a lot more USC.
Citywide, as it should be.
Well, as we all know, with the size of the city, there's enough room for both, right?
There you go. I like that answer. You got my vote now. Well, thank you. And this will go to council
Tuesday, May 12th.
And we will see you on Tuesday, May 12th.
Thank you very much.
With no other questions or comments, we'll move this item, seconded by Ms. Englander, and so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please. Item number 2.
Item 2, Councilman, is a communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Esther Hack to the Harbor Area APC.
Thank you, and welcome. And anything you want to share with the committee? What was your experience like on the commission, and anything else like to share on your reappointment?
Thank you. Well, I've enjoyed my experience so far. The harbor area is quite exciting. Although we don't meet as often as we'd like, I continue to plan to do my best job. I've served on a couple of other commissions in the past, and it's always been a passion of mine to be able to give back to my community.
Great, thank you. Any questions, Mr. England?
I want to recognize all the work you've done with Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and the neighborhood councils. You've been really active out there as well, so we appreciate it. And once again, stepping up. You put a lot of time into the city, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so this item will also be
Tuesday, May 12th.
We'll we'll see you then. Thank you. So
Thank you very much.
we'll move this item to council, seconded by Mr. Englander, so ordered. Item number 3.
Item 3, Councilman, is communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Mr. Oskin Harutunian to the North Valley APC.
Thank you. Welcome. Good to see you again. Yes.
And council members.
Yes, remember having you here before, and welcome back. And anything you'd like to share with the committee?
Well, I have served at Council District, the North Valley Area Planning Commission for the past 3 years. It's an honor to be reappointed again by the mayor, and I want to continue serving the city the best I can. And I hope Councilman Englander is happy with me, and I'm a Trojan also.
And another Trojan, that's right. Just let the record reflect. And it has been a dear friend in the community, and you do so much again. I think between many of the commissioners that we get, particularly in the Planning Commission, and the area planning commissions, and even the citywide planning commissions, it blows me away at how much time and effort you put into civic engagement and just the planning parts of what you're doing. It takes so much time away from your family and all the extracurricular activities, but we're a better city because of it. And you're pretty incredible in what you bring to the table. So
Thank you. It's an honor to serve the city.
Glad you're stepping up again. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And good fit, good nexus with the work you do and your experience and knowledge. So thank you for your service. And
thank you so much.
We look forward to continue working with you. We'll move this item to full council, same date?
Same date, sir.
Which is?
Tuesday, May 12th.
Thank you.
See you May 12th. And with that, we'll move this item, seconded by Mr. Englander. So ordered. Next item.
Item 6, Councilman, is a South Valley APC zone change for the construction of 6 multiple family dwelling units in CD3.
Okay. We have one speaker on this item. We're going to move this on consent. But we hear from the public speaker, Mr. Jim McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston. This is a toughie because it probably would have been better if it had been done a different way. But as it is, it violates our plan. And so I, as a sworn to uphold the laws of California, I have to object to it. And I do wish that you would also take a look at it, because if it were sent back to the Planning Commission and told to put it in as a small lot subdivision instead, it would retain the R1 designation and on the small lots, and there would be no problem with the plan. But changing the R1 to R3 is a violation of the basic plans of the city. I don't agree with that plan, but that's the way it is, and so we have to abide by the plan. That's what the Supreme Court has said. That's what the legislature said. That's what our charter says, and that's what our municipal code says. So we're kind of stuck with that as is for the time being. I think it would be better to send it back to Planning Commission and tell them to think about a small lot subdivision.
Thank you. I was reading the item. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. McQuiston. We'll move this item, seconded by Mr. Englander, so ordered. Next item.
Item 7, Councilman, is a report from the Planning Commission to delete a condition from the Colorado Boulevard specific plan.
Great, thank you. I will just read some notes into the record. Thank you, staff. Thank you for all your hard work. This is an item that there are no particular speakers, but is an item of concern to the northeast area, and particularly Eagle Rock, and it concerns the Colorado Boulevard specific plan. It was originally authored and adopted in 1992, over 20 years ago. Since that time, the corridor has undergone tremendous growth to benefit the Eagle Rock community and the new visitors it has entertained. The plan has been an effective tool in managing the look and preserving the pedestrian-friendly feel of the neighborhood, But like all plans, they need to be updated to continue to provide public convenience and necessity to our residents. One regulation or limitation of the current plan is a prohibition on business operating between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., meaning the neighborhood serving establishments that chose to move here need to close earlier and in some instances open later than their competitors in nearby cities such as Pasadena or Glendale. In August of 2014, my office, along with the Eagle Rock Association, the Eagle Rock Chamber of Commerce, and the Colorado Boulevard Design Review Board, hosted a town hall to discuss amending the hours in the specific plan. As a result, the committee made strong recommendations to remove the hours in the specific plan altogether. I'd like to thank our staff again for their quick work to get this done. We did our part to build community consensus, but staff did a wonderful job laying out the process, responding to comments, and making the changes with urgency and efficiency. And so with that, I'd like to move this item so that we can amend the operating hours of Colorado Boulevard in their specific plan to allow for the continuing pedestrian activity and business support in the area. Second by Mr. Englander, so ordered.
So, Councilman, you may wish to request the city attorney to prepare the ordinance.
And I'd like to request the city attorney to prepare the ordinance. And is this coming back to council, or is this to committee, or is this going to council?
Mr. Chair, usually the item will stay in committee. The clerk's office will send a formal letter to the city attorney that the committee would like a formal ordinance, and then the ordinance will come back to committee, and then it'll go to council, sir.
Okay, we could follow that process. That'd be great.
And also, you could also waive it if you like once it's been prepared.
It'd be great to come here, so at least we're tracking it. And I'm looking at our city attorney and just reminding him that this is Council District 14 item, which the council member of the area chairs. And so it'd be great to see that here as soon as possible. Thank you very much. All right. Next item.
Item 8, Councilman, is a Cultural Heritage Commission report relative to the inclusion of Parker Center in the list of historic cultural monuments.
All right. There are no cards on this item, but I understand we have lost jurisdiction of this item. And if the city clerk can announce for the public what happened for us to lose jurisdiction on this item.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Due to a technical error, the council did not act within the time limit and therefore lost jurisdiction over this matter. And as a result, the application is deemed denied.
Okay. And so we were told that the council's deadline to act was May 13th, so this news is unfortunate. However, it doesn't change the direction we are going in today in terms of entertaining the discussion about whether it should be nominated, Parker Center should be nominated or not. In fact, this morning I submitted a motion in council that addresses several aspects of Parker Center. First, although the Parker Center EIR is currently pending in council committees, I've been in recent conversation with the mayor's office and Bureau of Engineering about some further analysis to be included in the EIR that may consider revised project alternative. The motion specifically instructs BOE to prepare this further EIR analysis. Second, the motion asks for a report back on the feasibility of potential reuse and redevelopment of City Hall South, the LA Mall site, and other civic center assets. I've long sought a broader, coordinated vision for Civic Center redevelopment and have been working with the city family towards realizing such a larger vision. The motion asks to really initiate this project and look at a master plan for the Civic Center area. This approach allows a monument nomination to be considered in light of a new preservation project alternative, while also begins the process for a broader vision for the future of the Civic Center. After this additional EIR analysis has been conducted, I would encourage the Cultural Heritage Commission or the Director of Planning to initiate a new nomination for historic cultural monument status for the Parker Center site so that we may have the discussion informed by more alternatives and a broader vision of the Civic Center area.
Yeah,
Yes,
Councilman, I just want to point out that the committee's not taking any action on those things today. You're just announcing what may happen in the future.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have a Brown Act issue.
We are
Thank
neither
you.
discussing or taking action, but just announcing what may happen in the future, the path we are taking. So with that, Any other questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Englander.
Just another an update on that as well, as it relates to one of the new budget instructions coming out of the Budget and Finance Committee on their schedule for budget instruction. And we'll be considering that instruction is not passed. It'll be part of and wrapped into the budget deliberations as it goes through, and we finalize that and goes to the full City Council. If adopted, it will include, for historical preservation and historic property consideration, a full cost-benefit analysis on each project and property for city-owned property only. So not private property for historical designation, but city-owned property, where oftentimes we as decision makers will get, for example, the commission will set forth and suggest or say that a parcel, city-owned property, meets the specifications and the criteria to be considered for preservation because of the character, the architecture, the history, etc., and all those other elements. What often, or never, I should say, comes with that is the cost benefit, and to say, while it may be considered for historic designation, what isn't included is what would be the price tag to keep it as such. Retrofit, all the ADA compliance issues and code issues, all of the things that we never have that information with. And so we're often asked to make a unilateral, one-sided, while significant and critical decision for preservation. It never has that cost, just the benefit. And so we'll be able to make a much more informed decision should that come out of the City Council instruction. I was the one that carried that as well, so I wanted to bring the chairman up to speed on that, and what's going on with that I think would be a great thing for all of us as we start looking at particularly as our infrastructure, our properties, and our buildings are getting older, and there's going to be a lot more coming down the pipe to make sure that and ensure that we protect them in perpetuity. We need to know what the taxpayers are in for doing that. It would be a well-informed decision anyway. That's the update from Budget and Finance on that.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your good work on that. Much needed, and appreciate that. So with that, we will receive and file this item in as much as we lost jurisdiction. And as discussed, there's some other moving items of this as well, so we will rehear this in the future.
So technically, since you talked about it, it will be a note and file. The council lost jurisdiction, and the initiation of that application is deemed denied.
If we are receiving and file, I don't think we have to take any action to the record to that effect.
Right.
It's a technical.
Yes, deemed denied means it just automatically happens because you lost
Okay,
jurisdiction.
that's fine.
Let's back up 1 second just for clarity and technical process. So if we receive and file and don't act rather than deny, it's deemed approved
Well,
because that's the recommendation?
according to the code, if you don't act within the 105-day time limit, the action is deemed denied.
Oh, it's deemed denied,
Yes.
not deemed approved.
No, under the code. Under the administrative code.
Because sometimes they're deemed approved if we don't act, and
Right, in
sometimes
this
they're deemed
instance,
denied. In this particular
It
instance,
would be a denial.
But there are no legal or policy or decisions that there's no impact if we are deeming it denied, right? I mean, it doesn't change anything.
No,
for the
you can
future.
always refile, and if that's the intent,
Okay.
an application can be submitted. But in this instance, the application is denied. The one that was before us.
that's a
Okay.
consideration of
Yes, because
historic.
you exceeded the 105-day time period.
And they can reinitiate
Yes.
unilaterally.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We'll receive and file the item in as much as it was we lost jurisdiction and deemed denied.
File, council.
Oh, noted and filed. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So ordered. Okay, next items. We will take both 9 and 10 together.
Yes, they're interrelated. 10 is the old project, 9 is the new project. It's a planning commission report. It's a general plan amendment and zone change for a 27-story mixed-use building in CD10.
Okay. All right, so can we get a report from the staff on this, please?
Hi, good afternoon. Debbie Lawrence with Planning Department. So this project is located at the corner of 8th Street and Catalina Street in the Koreatown area of the Wilshire Community Plan, about 2 blocks south of Wilshire Boulevard. And just north of the site is the Robert F. Kennedy High School on the former Ambassador Hotel site. Staff recommended denial of the project, and CPC disapproved it on December 11th, 2014, and it was for 269 units on a site of about 53,000 square feet, and it was 27 stories in height. The previous one, which would have been item number 10, was 35 stories, so the revised project came down in stories. So staff recommended denial because the scale and intensity of the proposed project was not compatible with the Wilshire Community Plan and General Plan, which designates this neighborhood for lower density land use. So a 27-story building is well above the average 5 to 6-story building that characterizes the area, and the R5 density is better suited along Wilshire Boulevard to the north, where the General Plan framework identifies that area for a regional center. So staff recommends that the CPC decision to deny all entitlements be sustained and that the environmental document not be adopted. Thank you, and we're here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. I am trying to determine here who is the applicant and who is the appeal. Okay, the appellant as well as the applicant, so, okay. Said Hakeem, Michael Hakeem, and then the actual applicant is Sam Hakeem, right? Okay. Yeah, and there's some opposed here, so Mr. Hakeem, you have
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
I have Bruce Chow with KOA Associates, a traffic consultant. There's an environmental consultant to answer any of your questions.
Okay, you have 5 minutes to make your full presentation if you like, and bring up anybody you wish to support your presentation. If anybody wishes to speak separately outside of your presentation, they could fill out a card and they each have 1 minute. We do have a number of supporter cards here as well and some in opposition, but you can use your 5 minutes as you wish.
Thank you. Whoever is in support, please join me. I want to thank you guys for considering our project. We have worked diligently on 2 separate applications in mitigating any concerns from the traffic issues to the environmental issues that we're some concerned about. We have invested heavily in Wilshire Koreatown Center. We are familiar with the neighborhood. We are supportive of healthy growth, pedestrian-friendly environment. We have supported numerous opportunities in creating a pedestrian-friendly atmosphere. This project is an anchor for the Wilshire Center. You know, downtown is growing exponentially, Los Angeles is growing exponentially, but Wilshire Center is in need for new housing to meet the city's guidelines of 25,000 units that are somewhat behind. We're only on pace at 8,000 currently, and the mayor's initiative to increase more housing, to make it more competitive for other more reasonable housing stock. As you can understand, that the price of housing has increased. So we're doing our best to meet the city needs and to create a healthy living atmosphere so people can walk their kids to school and take the metro downtown or to the west side. And we really hope that, understanding that this regional center is right across the street from an R5 zone. So we're not asking for something too significant, as this area is in need for that. Bruce Chow, please share with us.
Hi, my name is Bruce Chow with KOA Corporation, and we were hired to do the traffic study for this project. And as you know, with your council districts, the way the process goes with the traffic study, we work with the City of LA Department of Transportation to define the study area scope, what intersections to look at, methodology, how much trips the project's going to generate, where the trips are going to and from, and then we determine each intersection, the level of traffic, the level of service, and from that, we determine impacts based on the city's criteria. And this project did not create any significant traffic impacts. And again, our report has been reviewed by the City of LA Department of Transportation and approved. And again, if you have any questions on traffic-related matters, I will be happy to help you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we will now go to our public speaker. Each public speaker has 1 minute. Jim McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston. I love the expediter on this was grumpy old men. I suppose I should join that, being so grumpy. But you have my statement on this. I've put in lots of statements on this. It is wildly out of scale with the general plan. The general plan says you can't build anything that's wildly out of scale. So that's the end of it, unless we want to change the general plan to say you can build anything you want. That would be really against the rules according to the government code, so we can't say that. So I think this project is just a little bit misplaced. It probably would be really good downtown, maybe, but not out here where the skyline is much lower.
Thank you, Mr. McQuiston. Cha Boon Soon. After Cha Boon Soon is Chun Soon Ja.
She's going to need a translator, so I'm happy to translate.
Okay. You have 2 minutes.
저는 팔가와 카타리나에 27층 아파트 짓는 걸 반대하러 나왔습니다. 이유는
I'm here to oppose the 8th Street 27-story building, and the reason is because
고급 아파트가 들었으면 그만큼 많은 숫자의 차량이 다니게 되고
because with the luxury apartments coming in, that many more traffic will occur.
27층 빌딩의 유닛만 해도 그 차량이 늘어나고 교통 혼잡이 너무 혼잡해지는 걸 보세요.
Just think about all the traffic that will come with 27 stories.
그런 고급 빌딩은 우리 한인타운이 아닌 곳에
You know, this luxury apartment in Koreatown
차량이 복잡하지 않은 곳에 짓게 하시고
I think would be better suited in a different area where it could absorb the traffic.
이곳은 저소득층을 위한 건물이나 아니면 타운의 작은 쉼터를 지어주시기 바랍니다.
I would prefer that you built an apartment complex for those who have low-income needs, or make it a place where it could be open space.
지금 건물을 짓지 않았는데도 러시아 시간 와 보시면 아시겠지만 너무 혼잡합니다.
If you were to come just now, even before this building is built, you would see that rush hour traffic here is horrible.
그리고 지독한 가뭄의 물난리를 생각하지 않을 수 없습니다.
And you can't forget about this drought that we're having, this historic drought.
그래서 제 생각에는 거기 절대 지어서는 안 된다고 말씀드리러 나왔습니다. 절대 안 됩니다.
And so I came out to strongly oppose. I'm telling you, I strongly oppose this building of 27 units, stories.
Thank you. Chun Soon Ja. After Chun Jun Sa is Alex Che or Cha.
네, 저는 전선자입니다. 8가와 818 South Veranda Street에 사는 사람입니다.
I live right behind at 818 South Berendo.
8가와 캐탈리나 27층 건물을 짓는다는데 절대 반대합니다.
I am completely opposed to the 8th Street and Catalina 27-story project.
만약에 4, 5층 정도라면 저는 반대를 안 하겠습니다.
If it were 4 or 5 stories, I would not oppose.
그 반대 이유는 첫째로 이곳에는 아주 대부분의 가난한 사람들이 살고 있습니다.
And on the other hand, this area is a predominantly low-income area.
시민을 한다면은 저소득 아파트를 지어주시는 것이 시민을 위한 길이라고 생각합니다.
If you cared about the residents and the people and the community members in this area, you would build affordable housing units here.
지금 코리아타운의 시니어들은 10여 년이 넘게 노인 아파트를 기다리고 있습니다.
At this time in Koreatown, seniors have to wait nearly 10 years to get senior housing.
이것은 아주 심각한 문제라고 생각합니다.
This is a very troubling and serious problem.
시에서는 이렇게 가난과 싸우는 시니어들에게 귀 기울여 주시는 게 마땅하다고 생각합니다.
I think it's appropriate that the city council take care of the seniors and those who are in need first.
그래서 이 프로젝트에 반대합니다.
So I oppose this project.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alex Cha or Che, J. Edward Kim.
Hello, council members. My name is Alex Cha. I'm an attorney practicing in Koreatown. Actually, I'm at a building called the Equitable, which is 30 stories tall, and I was very surprised to hear that there's going to be a 27-story luxury apartment being built in Koreatown. Koreatown is not downtown. It's very different. We need affordable housing. Traffic is terrible. Also, I'm strongly opposed to this project. Also, this project doesn't meet the California Environmental Quality Act CEQA guidelines. CEQA guidelines 15074B provides that the decision-making body, which is this committee itself, shall adopt the proposed negative declaration or mitigated negative declaration only if it finds on the basis of the whole record before it that there is no substantial evidence that the project will have a significant effect on the environment, and that the negative declaration or mitigated negative declaration reflects the lead agency's independent judgment and analysis. This has been opposed already by the planning board, so we are heavily against this project. Thank you.
Thank you. J. Edward Kim, and then Grace Yu.
Good afternoon. J. Edward Kim. I yield my time to Grace Yu.
We don't yield time, sir, so we have...
I'll start reading the letter.
Dear Plum Committee members, please note that the Catalina project that you are looking at today has a highly irregular history with the City Planning Department and Transportation Department and other city departments. For a quick reference, the Catalina project was first brought in 2006 as a 22-story complex with 224 residential units, 500 parking spaces, and retail space with the helipad on the roof denied. There is a DOT traffic impact study issued by City DOT to City Planning that states that the developer contribute to a neighborhood traffic management plan. This same report discusses the classification of highway designation of 8th Street and local street designation on Catalina and Kenmore as requiring street widening. Street widening is not a possibility on Catalina, as the other side of the street abuts the Robert F. Kennedy Schools, aka Ambassador Hotel site. Nor is widening the local side streets of Catalina and Kenmore an option, as the location is completely full of other residences.
Thank you.
Okay, Grace Yu, to continue on. The city's own DOT has concluded that the traffic congestion requires the widening of the streets, which in this situation is not possible, as across 8th Street from the proposed site is the RFK schools. Not sure how you can get around the need for a widening of the streets to accommodate the traffic congestion to be created, especially in light of the fact there have been new complexes in the very near vicinity, less than a block and a half away, that have brought an additional 479 residential units or so on Berenda Street between Wilshire and 7th. The project in 2009 for 35 stories was also denied. And then in 2014, the City Planning Commission once again denied 8-0 the request. This finding just does not make sense. If you look at page F6D of the Department City Planning Recommendation Report, which I highlighted for you to take a look at, it tells you why this is not possible. The traffic congestion, the air quality, noise, and were found to have potentially significant impact unless mitigated. The proposed revised project does not conform to the city's land use goals and policies. And I submitted all of the sheets to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Becky Ronquillo, Scarlett De Leon.
Hello, Rebecca Ronquillo, and I'm with Kiwa, the Koreatown Immigrant Workers Alliance, and also a former resident of Koreatown. We are here today to urge you all to scale back on this project and make sure that anything that is built in our community has benefits for the existing community now. As you all have seen, K-Town has grown quite significantly, but not so much for the existing community there. It's the majority low-income residents living in rent-control units. The ones that used to be on the lot will never be brought back. So we ask for any developers coming into Koreatown that we are for development, but we are for the low-income, local community-friendly development. And with that said, we ask that it's scaled back and we really look at what it is that we want in our neighborhood that will really benefit the local community, that does not deteriorate the air quality, and in addition does not create more nuisance and dangers for our children who go to the local school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Scarlett De Leon, Brady Collins.
Scarlett's not coming. I'm also a staff member at the Koreatown Immigrant Workers Alliance and a resident of Koreatown. And I just want to read some further analysis that we've done of this project. The project requests a general plan amendment, as you know, and zone change to double the property's density and permit 0-foot yards at the 1st through 5th levels. This project therefore conflicts with numerous city policies and requests an illegal yard adjustment where no substantial evidence supports the findings. The project's MND is so deficient in its traffic and aesthetic analysis that it fails as an informational document. New mitigation required in these impact areas will trigger recirculation. Finally, the MND fails to disclose significant project impacts requiring the preparation of a full EIR. KIWA respectfully requests that you join the unanimous recommendations of the City Planning Commission to deny the project as proposed. And for the record, I was there at the City Planning Commission hearing as well and made these same claims. We're open to a community benefits agreement. I've spoken a bit with Michael Hakeem and we'll be happy to continue those discussions.
Thank you. Jim McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston. I put in 2 cards because it was on 2 items, but since you're taking them together, actually, I put in on both items, and both items I said it just neither comply with the general plan, and therefore we can't do anything about it unless we change the general plan. And you've gotten my cites from the Supreme Court and also all the way down in minor courts that say the city just can't do this anymore. We have to go by the plan, and we have to get the planning department connected to that so we get good plans and then we stick to them, and then we have no problem with the budget either.
Thank you. Gary Russell, Said Hakim.
Good afternoon. My name is Gary Russell. I'm here in support of the project. I've been a member of this community for over 30 years. Actually, this month, last 1985, I moved into my office at 3600 Wilshire. Been an active community member of that, activist, and very involved in a variety of activities in that community. Seen changes over the last 30 years, particularly from 85 to 95, and then from 95 on, we saw some major improvements in our areas. New development, new housing, new people coming into the area. This project is a part of that process, a continuous growth in our area, encouraging developers to spend and invest in our community. That's what we need. That's what makes our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Said Hakim, Michael Hakim.
Your Honor, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, Koreatown is the more density, the biggest or more than after New York in United States. Unfortunately, more than 95% of all the building is old, is over 50 or 60 years old, and has a lot of lack of the efficiency and comfort for the resident. And this project, I think that they are started, is going to be very good because it's cut the traffic because the kids can go to school just walking distance, and is close to all the communication and from wheelchair or any place they want to go and come out. And thank you very much. And I for this project.
Thank you. Michael Kim.
I second that, and I thank you very much for consideration.
Thank you. Myung Soon Sun. After Myung Soon Sun is Chung Sik Hong.
안녕하세요.
Hello. I'm going to translate for you.
Okay, 2 minutes, please.
예, 저는 그 10년 전에 미국에 이민 온 한국 사람입니다. 이제 코리아타운에 26층짜리 빌딩이 들어서는 거에 대해서 찬성하기 위해서 나왔습니다.
I came here to support this project, and I've been here for 10 years.
지금 제가 10년 전에 미국에 와서 본 인상은 첫 번째 너무 건물들이 너무 굉장히 올드한 상태로 있다는 겁니다. 한국보다는 굉장히 많이 뒤쳐져 있는 상황을 봤기 때문에 제가 거기에 대해서 많이 놀란 점이 많았습니다.
I was very surprised when I came to United States. First thing I noticed was my first impression was all the buildings that I see was really, really old.
오케이, 제가 다른 뉴스를 통해서 제가 알고 있는 것은 지금 LA 쪽에 인구수가 400만을 이번에 넘는다고 지금 얘기를 들었습니다.
I heard a news that LA population reached little over 4 million this year.
그 가운데 지금 주택 보급률은 한 8,900채 정도 된다고 지금 얘기를 들었습니다.
And there's only 8,900 housing available for them.
숫자에서 볼 수 있듯이 지금 주택에 대한 문제가 많이 심각한 거는 사실입니다. 그래서 한인타운에 이런 고층 건물이 생김으로 인해서 많은 그 인구가 유입됨과 동시에 많은 인구가 그 주택에서 거주를 할 수 있도록 하는 게 저는 옳다고 생각을 합니다.
And I think it is right to support this high-rise project. As you can see in numbers, we are lack of housing compared to a number of people living in LA. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Chung Sik Hong.
How are you?
Thank you. 2 minutes.
다시 한번 꼭 승인해 주시기를 부탁드리면서 설명을 드리겠습니다. 캔마를 중심으로 서쪽으로 페드로 또 더 나아가서 말리포사 또 동쪽으로 카타리나 앤드 뉴 햄프셔 북쪽으로 A 스트리트 앤드 제임스 우드 길에 보면은 지역이 무척 지금도 낮아 보입니다. 여기는
Hi, my name is 홍석 성함이 어떻게 되시나요? 중식 Hong, and I would like to support this project. To east and west and north and south of Catalina, I noticed that a lot of buildings are really, really old and they're not high-rise.
이 지역을 보면은 무척 낮아 있습니다. 그러면 누군가는 개발을 해서 좋은 동네를 만들어야 되겠다고 절실히 느끼고 있습니다.
And I encourage everybody that we need improvement in this neighborhood.
지금은 아파트 수요는 느는데 공급이 적습니다. 그러므로 그 아파트 분야에 대해서 어려움을 겪고 있고 이런 등등을 봐서 반드시 개발해서 시작을 하고 또 누군가가 또 개발해서 들어서면 좋은 동네가 될 거로 믿습니다. 이에 승인해 주시기를 간곡히 부탁드립니다.
Please approve this project because people need more housing, and this project will provide a lot of housing for high demand, and I really support this project.
Thank you. Kim Yoon Hwan.
김윤환입니다.
My name is Kim Yun-han.
이 아파트 26층, 27층짜리 건물을 짓는다는 것은 상당히 좋은 일인 것이 첫째, 학교에서 도보로 걸어갈 수 있고
I support this project, and the good thing about this project is this high-rise building will provide walking distance to school, those of people who needs.
그리고 이 건물이 지어질 경우에 그 주변이 상당히 그 범죄로부터 그 취약한 지역인데 새로운 건물이 들어서면서 주변이 아주 깨끗하게 변할 것입니다.
And this new project will improve not only the areas, but also it will decrease criminal activities around the neighborhood.
그리고 트래픽 문제들을 염려하시는데 한인타운이나 다운타운 주변에는 트래픽이 항상 있습니다. 이 문제는 이 건물이 들어선다고 해서 일어날 문제가 아닙니다.
And those of people who are deeply concerned about the traffic issue, and I personally think that's not the problem because downtown and Koreatown always dealt with traffic issues, and this building is not causing any more serious traffic issue. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Emmanuel Casilla.
Good afternoon. I support the project because it will be beneficial for the community. There will be a job opening on that area. And then if you live there, it's near at the school, and I think it will not create traffic. I lived there for 10 years, and I cannot see traffic. Okay? Thank you.
Jenna Kang. After Jenna Kang is Tanya Movtakar.
Good afternoon. I support this project as a fellow Koreatown resident. I think this project will invite young families that can afford this kind of higher-end apartment buildings and provide new jobs, more security for the area, and I truly feel this would be a true asset to the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Tanya Movtakar.
Yes. I am in support of this project. Koreatown has the largest population, second to New York City. This area has lots of dilapidated buildings and a lack of apartments. I am a property owner of buildings on 7th and Catalina across from the RFK schools. And I receive multiple phone calls per day about vacancies. Because of the lack of apartments, prices in the area have doubled in the past 2 years, especially for newer apartments. The community needs safer, newer buildings to help families looking for better living conditions. And children can walk their children to school. The metros are used more for commuting because of the location. And also, we probably will see a less amount of lawsuits for, living conditions and LA Housing Department, all the dilapidated buildings in the area. Maybe we'll have a lot less of that if the quality of families moving to the area will be better as well. Thank you so much. I support the project.
Hana Kim. After Hana Kim is Young Ju Choi.
Hi, how are you? My name is Hana Kim, and I just strongly believe that there's a lot of people are coming from Korea, and strong demand, not enough supply in the neighborhood, and building that the building, our project in front of that school, the community school, that's one of the biggest community school we have over there, and it will help. We can build a lot of institute inside also in the building. Will help them to improve their curriculum about math, English, or we can do a lot of things with the building, I believe. So, and I strongly believe, and that if I go around that neighborhood, I notice it's very old, and all the buildings are 50, 60 years old, and there are a lot of definitely if you build that big building there, it will improve the whole area. That's how I feel. So please consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ju Choi.
중요한 일에 참석하게 돼서 너무 감사합니다.
Thank you for opportunity to participate in this important event.
저기 여기 한국 사람들 좋은 환경에서 살기 원합니다.
And I want all Korean people to live in better environment.
그리고 이 다른 빌딩도 지을 때는 반대가 있습니다.
And every time they build new buildings, there are people who disagree.
그렇지만 이 빌딩이 새롭게 지어지고 나면 좋은 환경에서 생활할 수 있고 모든 사람들이 편리하게 생활합니다.
But everyone will enjoy this building and environment once it's built.
그리고 커머셜도 지어지면 거기에서 학생들 학교가 가까우니까 많은 것도 배울 수 있고 또 학생들이 또 더 좋은 환경에서 생활할 수 있어서 좋습니다.
And this building will provide opportunity for those students in front of the building so they can study better, and this commercial building might be able to provide some type of study areas for the kid.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hyung Kip.
저의 의견을 말씀드리겠습니다.
I would like to share my opinion on this project.
모든 일에는 양면이 있습니다.
There are good and bad in every things in the world.
음지가 있는가 하면 양지도 있습니다.
There's light and there's shadow.
그곳에 고층 빌딩에 들어선다고 해서 모든 분에게 해를 주는 건 아닙니다.
This high-rise building will not damage people in the areas.
제 생각에는 득을 보는 분이 더 많다고 생각합니다.
I think there will be a lot more benefit.
그래서 모든 일에 그 대를 위해서는 소가 좀 양보를 해야 된다고 생각합니다. 많은 걸 위해서는 적은 것이.
So we can sacrifice little for the good deeds.
그래서 깊이 한 번만 더 생각해 주시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
So please deeply concern these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Babish, John Park.
Hi, I'm Robert Babish. I've been a resident of Koreatown for 11 years, and I'd like to commend the mayor for giving such a beautiful State of the Los Angeles speech in which he set out some very aggressive goals for the city, one being creating 100,000 units in 5 years. And being a resident right near the Solaire development, I'm just a block away from there. I watched that whole development go up, and I've seen the whole tenure of the neighborhood improve because of it. This building that is proposed is a world-class building that would create a walkable corridor and connect the JFK High School and school district to the neighborhood of Wilshire. The history of Los Angeles is very strong in allowing development, vertical development in certain areas like the Wilshire Corridor, Westwood, Beverly Hills. You have high rises right next to residential areas operating in a beautiful, peaceful way. So
thank you.
Thank you. I'm in support of it.
John Park?
Yes, my name is John Park. Hi. I lived in Koreatown for 15 years, and currently I reside in Kenmore Street. And I've seen a lot of improvement in K-Town lately. They built high-rise buildings, and I see that all the areas around and surround the area got improved as well. And as you know, we have a large population in LA, and we are so lack of place to live. And not only lack of a place, but we need newer place. As you can see, a lot of buildings in K-Town is old, and they're exposed to past and a lot of damages. And I really support this project, and hoping that this project will bring more middle-class people into Koreatown
And as a result, this will improve economically and also help lots of people, and it'll benefit lots of residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Robinson and Scott Suh.
Good afternoon, esteemed members. I have been, one way or another, been a stakeholder, a resident in the area for a quarter century. If foresight is the very cornerstone of good planning, the Instant Project is a definite step in the right direction for the following reasons. The A Street corridor has not received a single benefit of a new project of any kind since it was designated as the redevelopment and empowerment zone some 20 plus years ago. If anything, the area has been declining steadily in terms of public safety, habitability, and economic vitality. The Wilshire Center Koreatown is rapidly becoming a regional hub for attracting an increasing number of residents who are looking for a place where they can be close to job centers, avoiding long and wasteful commutes, and where they can enjoy wide-ranging amenities in very close proximity. Whereas increased density may be a red flag in certain parts of the city, it can be said that it is more culturally acceptable and welcoming in the Instant area, as evidenced by the signed petition that was submitted from presidents that represent restaurant operators, grocery
Thank you,
operators, and senior citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Suh.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Sue. I'm a resident of Koreatown for over 35 years. I work in Koreatown. I have office in Koreatown. I also represent many other organizations that I belong to. I'm here today to support of this project. And 8th and Carolina needs development. 8th and Carolina and also entire 8th Street needs new development. You heard from the opposition as well. It's a low-income, blighted, slumped area. They want to build low-income housing, which we really need. There's no doubt. But do we want to keep that area low-income, slum, blighted? No. By having this type of a project, this would help the local resident with the jobs and also the businesses. 8th and Carolina used to be, many years ago, Korean owner-occupied businesses. Now it's not. They are suffering because they don't have a strong neighborhood supports their business. So we do need strong developments which will bring jobs and economic development. Thank you.
Thank you. William Kim and Hong Soon.
안녕하세요.
Good afternoon.
이번 프로젝트는 코리안타운 발전이나 또 지금 심각한 주거 문제를 해결하기 위해서 가장 필요한 프로젝트라고 생각합니다. 저는 찬성합니다.
He's in support of this project because it would help the overall development of Koreatown and also it will solve the housing issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Hong Soon.
안녕하십니까, 홍순원입니다.
Good afternoon. My name is Hong Soon.
코리아타운과 LAC 발전을 위해서는 대형 공사가 계속 있어야 된다고 볼 때에 이번 이 공사는 전적으로 찬성합니다. 환영합니다.
He's in support of this project because entire city of LA needs a big and mega-sized development. Thank you.
Thank you. Jong Ho. And then after Jong Ho is Aura Vasquez.
Good afternoon.
우리 코리아타운의 무궁한 발전을 위해서는 그러한 프로젝트가 계속 있었으면 하는 제 생각입니다.
He believes that for the betterment of entire Koreatown and Korean community, we do need this type of a project. Many projects from now on.
저는 아주 찬성합니다.
He gives his full support to this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aura Vasquez.
Yeah, hi.
And
Good
Wastel.
afternoon. My name is Aura Vasquez, and I reside also in K-Town, and I'm also part of the Wilshire Center Neighborhood Council. And I'm here to urge you to deny this project and not approve it. Not only the city planning has not recommended this project, but it will also require a huge restraint to our community. A 30-story tower to be built in K-Town with real no community impact statement, and all of the planning and the zoning commissioners that have seen this project before have said that this is not a good project for K-Town. I will find really surprising that you and the mayor will support this project, not because I am anti-development, but because I want responsible development in my neighborhood. I want the people that are really being affected here. A lot of the people here speaking before you are not involved on this project at all, or are not affected. And you probably will hear from Kiwa, or you already heard from them. And I find also really interesting that there's a lot of people here present before you. And what I want to say is that this can be a project that is good for K-Town. Do not approve this project, and let's approve a project that is good for all of us.
Thank you. Andrew Westhall. Council District 10.
Good afternoon, council members. Andrew Westall, Assistant Chief Deputy to City Council President Herb Wesson. I'm here today to talk about why this project is worthy of your support. This project, as you've heard from many of the speakers today, is a catalytic project along the 8th, along 8th and Catalina, along the 8th Street corridor in Koreatown. It's important to note that this area of the city is the densest area in the United States outside of Manhattan Island. It should also be noted that the community plan for this area has not been updated in over 15 years. And the reason why those things are important is because you have density naturally occurring in this neighborhood, and we need to be able to build housing. We need to be able to build projects and include all of that regional commercial that's not just along Wilshire Boulevard, but goes from 6th Street to 8th Street. All of that needs to increase in this density, and this particular project is the first of its kind that will create that catalyst along 8th Street to build things out. Just a few of the other things that we've been able to do in this particular neighborhood. Over the last 10 years, we've built over 500 affordable housing units. This is also one of the areas of the city where you have the largest, one of the largest concentrations of rent-controlled housing. And the reason why that's important is because we need to have a proper mix and balance of not just incomes and housing and jobs, but all of those things that the community needs in this particular neighborhood. And that includes market rate housing like this particular project. There are a variety of issues that have been brought up in this hearing and in letters submitted to the file, and I wanted to address at least a couple of those. Traffic will not be an issue with this project, and you have to understand you're close to two major subway stations. You have major rapid bus stations and lines going through this area. It's an easy couple blocks to the east or to the west, to the north or to the south, to be able to use that public transit. And that's where we want that density. Much like we're doing in downtown, Koreatown is the only other place in the city where you have that real density and that infrastructure in terms of public transit. In order to deal with some of the issues that come up today and in the past, we did submit a recommendation for an additional condition that has been distributed to you and that the applicant is in agreement with. This additional condition would provide for a community benefits package, which deals with not only the affordable housing issue, but also with the open space issue that was talked about previously as well. And so with that being said, furthermore, I'd like to give to the clerk additional findings in the event that you approve this project, so that the findings can be made and be part of the file. We'd also ask that the planning department be given the latitude to make any technical adjustments or corrections to these findings. So in closing, what we would ask is that on item 9, that you adopt the appeal with the findings that were just distributed, as well as the amended condition. And on item 10, we would ask that you receive and file that item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on this item? Yeah, got the amendments. We have the proposed findings on item 9, should we approve these? These are different from the conditions of approval.
Yes.
So the conditions of approval, should we adopt them?
Right.
We would need some from the planning department, correct?
No, the conditions of approval were, there's one that is being amended by CD10, I believe. But the planning department disapproved the project in its entirety.
Okay, so we would have to come up with some conditions of approval separate from this, if we were to approve this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I can clarify, there are, at this point, number 9 is the request for a general plan amendment as well as a request for a zone change and a high district change. Now, while the commission denied these requests, the mayor approved, and so now this is the requests are submitted for the council to take. So at this point, what is before the committee and the council are the requests for a general plan amendment as well as a zone change and high district change. So at this time, if the committee decides to support the project and approve these requests, a recommendation will be included in the Plum report that will instruct the planning department to prepare the necessary resolution and ordinances, conditions of approval in order to effectuate the general plan amendment as well as the zone and high district change.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so I've reviewed the file from this item when it was here last week and heard public testimony. Any questions or comments, Mr. Englander? And we will move to concur with the mayor's recommendation to approve the project. And in so doing, we disapprove the action of the City Planning Commission, and that the Plum Committee adopts the findings to support the approval and direct the Planning Department to drop those additional conditions and additional items for full council. And with that action, we will receive and file the appeal for item number 10. Is there a second to that? Seconded by Mr. Englander. Anything else on that? Does that effectuate?
Public comments.
Okay. So we'll order. Yeah. There is no public comment, so this meeting is adjourned.